Hey everybody, Mr. Mack here. I'm going to continue working through some of these problems from our 7.1 practice set, and we're applying Pythagorean theorem down in this section with some perimeter. So we have this figure below. We see that we have a right triangle with a semicircle on the end of the hypotenuse of that right triangle. So we're looking for perimeter. So this figure right here has a perimeter of two sides. So we have, we can call this A and B, maybe, for our sides, since those are the legs of this right triangle. So we have the length of side A, length of side B, plus we have this semicircle. So I could say half of the circumference of a circle. So my equation would be A plus B plus 1/2. Okay, so what's the equation for circumference of a circle? Circumference is 2 pi r. So 1/2 of 2 pi r. So let's list our variables. We've got A is 3, we have B is 4, and R we don't know. So we have to find R first. Well, R is going to be this length from C to D, which will be half of the hypotenuse of this right triangle. Right, so this is where we first have to use Pythagorean theorem to solve the hypotenuse. So we've got 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. I hope you are starting to recognize this Pythagorean triple, this 3, 4, 5 right triangle. Because when we solve for c here, we get 5. So this length is 5, which means our radius is 2.5, because the radius is half the diameter. So P equals 3 plus 4, I'm substituting my values now, plus 1/2 2 pi times 2.5. 7 plus, okay, so half of 2, so these cancel, and I get 2.5 pi. I like that answer right there. If we leave it like this, it is our exact value. But if we want to get it as a decimal, maybe you did that because I didn't give you specific instructions on how to write the solution. Then that would give you, just get my glasses on here, 7 plus 2.5 pi, 14.9. Units. Okay, we could say that. Okay, that's 25. 26. What is the surface area of the right triangle prism below? Okay, so a right triangle means that we have a right angle on the triangle, which would be here, and surface area means that we're finding the area of all the sides and add it together. So surface area, let's see here, why don't we, one way we can approach this is by making a net. So why don't we make our by 4 triangle. Sorry, a 3 by 4 rectangle. It's right next to another 3 by 4 rectangle. These right here. Let's get some colors. So I got these two right here are both 3 by 4, 3 by 4, 3 by 4. Okay, and then I have a triangle that comes off. I can lay flat this side, so I've got a triangle here, triangle here, and let's make, so that's the two red ones, like that. And I know my dimensions are, this is a right angle, this is a right angle, and this side's 4, and this side's 4. Now I'm just missing one more rectangle, which is this large one here that runs this way. And this is, let's see, let's make this one maybe this color. So this one is that right there. I know it covered up some of the other colors, but as I went through, I hope that makes sense. And this one is 3 by what? We don't know this side right here, which is the same as this length here. We don't know what that is. E to G or I to H, we don't know what that is. So how do we find it? Well, we have a right triangle right here, and we see that the legs that make up the right angle are both 4. So we can find this hypotenuse C, which would be this value right here, C. So let's use the Pythagorean theorem. And we've got 4 squared plus 4 squared. So C is root 32. For this problem, why don't we go ahead and we'll just get the decimal equivalent, 5.7. So 5.7 is the length of C. Okay, so now let's write our surface area equation. We have 2 areas of rectangles, which is these two right here, plus we have 2 areas of triangles, which is the red ones, plus 1 area of this rectangle. Okay, try to color code it for you. So surface area is, so we have 2 length times width plus 2 1/2 base times height plus length times width. Okay, so length times width of the blue ones here, that's going to be 4 times 3 plus 2 times 1/2 base and height, 4 and 4. And then we've got 5.7 and 3. There it is right there. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8 times 3, we got 24, plus this 2's cancel, that's 16, plus 5.7 times 3 is 17.1. 40 plus 17.1 is 57.1, let's say units squared. Okay, that's 26. I organized this problem in a way to help you understand it. I want you to organize the problem in a way to help me understand that you know what you're doing. So show me your work. In this case, I made a net. I showed my equations, all the steps in my equation. I showed my work for Pythagorean theorem. It's clear. Okay, now we're finding the area and perimeter of the triangle below. So area is going to be 1/2 base times height, and the perimeter is going to be side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. And side 1, side 2, and side 3, as we look at this triangle, really what we have here is we've got the base, we have the height, and this hypotenuse right here. Call that C. Okay, so those are my 3 sides. So I have to identify these lengths. And we've learned how to find the distance between 2 points. So we can use the distance formula to find the distance between KL and LM and KM. But I hope you see that we can also now use the Pythagorean theorem. Because Pythagorean theorem really is just, the distance formula is just the Pythagorean theorem in a different form. So take a look at this. Let's do this first one. Let's do K to L. I can make a right triangle here, right on this graph. And let's make it yellow. So I've got this yellow triangle. And I know the distance on this leg. I know this is a right triangle because this is horizontal and vertical line. And I know this length is 2 and this length is 3. So how can I find B? Well, I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem again. So let's see, we'll put it right here. 2 and 3 are my legs of this right angle. C here, I'm gonna replace C with B for base. Maybe I'll just write it out, base. Okay, this is going to be 4 plus 9, that's 13, equals my base squared. So the base of this triangle is going to be root 13. So I've got my B right here, is root 13. This is also going to be one of my sides, so maybe I'll call that the first side, root 13. Okay, let's get the other, let's get the height now. So we can make another triangle. So I'm drawing a triangle using my coordinate graph here, and we see we have another right angle, and I have a side length of 2 and another side leg of 3. I hope you see that this is the same triangle that we just already found with the legs 2 and 3. The base is going to, the hypotenuse here is going to be the same length. You guys see that? I mean, if we plug this back in, 2 squared plus 3 squared equals the height squared. It's still going to be root 13. So I know my height is root 13. So I'm actually got everything I need for my area. 1/2 root 13 times root 13. Okay, so root 13 times root 13 is just 13. So when you multiply a number with the square root, basically what you're saying is you're canceling the square root, because 13, if I take the square root of 13 and I square it, the square and the square root cancel each other out. Those are inverse operations, and just leaves me with 13. If you're not quite sure about it, you could say, okay, well, root 13 times root 13 is root 169, and if you take the square root of that, it's 13. So our answer for the area is 13 halves, or you could say 6.5 units squared. Okay, that part's done. S2, we can call this height length, so that was another root 13. Plus S3 is now this length, k to m. So we don't know that, but we're going to find it right now. We're going to draw another right triangle where this length, this unknown length, is still the hypotenuse. And we know this is another right angle, and this is a length of 1, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a length of 5. So now I know I'll put it right here, I have another right triangle with one unknown side. So I've got one leg is 1, have the other leg is 5, and the hypotenuse is what we're looking for. Square root of 26. That doesn't simplify because if I find the factors of 26, there's just 2 and 13, and then no pairs. So this would be root 13 plus root 13 plus root 26 is my perimeter. And so root 13 and root 13 would be 2 root 13, but I can't add the root 26 because those aren't like terms, not like we need the same number inside the radical to add them together. And so that would be my answer, exact answer. And then if I wanted to round something, I could do 2 root 13 plus root 26, and put it in my calculator, 12.3. units. Does that answer make sense? Let's see. So we know, 2, 3, we know this is going to be, I mean, it's root 13. So what is the square root of 13? Square root of 13 is around, it's a little bit less than 4, right? 3.6 something, so 3.6 and another 3.6, 7.2. And this has got to be bigger than 5. So yeah, that's kind of making sense. 12.3 is a good answer. All right, we're done with this section. This is the warm-up. We already did that. And I hope that makes sense. And I'll check you guys later.